I'm undefeated. I'm undefeated. I'm undefeated.
Oh, snap. We're back. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. I think there's a third one that you're supposed to say in that song.
The boys are back in town.
Chris got it.
It's beautiful.
Didn't leave me hanging. Welcome to the fantasy show of all fantasy shows, at least the main one on the Crier Media Network. Welcome to That Helps No One FantasyCast, a show made up of four people that join together in a common goal journey to tell you about fantasy football and the bad side of fantasy football and the good side of fantasy football. I'm joined by everyone this week. First and foremost, Ted, with a working microphone, wearing Browns apparel, and his camera on straight. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. That's where you could go, hey, man.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Perfect. Second of all,
Guys, could you hear Ted? I couldn't hear him.
Don't start with me, Chris. You don't live too far away.
I know where you live, damn it.
second we've got Steve with what he deems to be a shoddy internet connection, but we're going to test that this week.
We'll see what we can do.
We will see what we can do. And then we got old man McGinty. He's back. He's a little cranky, but he's got some good jokes. A few off-color ones, and that's okay sometimes. Chris Phillips, welcome back to the show.
Happy to be back.
I feel like camera around so we don't have to read your shirt backwards. I'm not good at reading backwards. I know. Oh, and now that makes way more sense. Now that pic makes way more sense in your photo too. I remember it happening that way, not the other way. So, Merry Christmas. Love it, boys.
I'm happy to see that Steve still hasn't upgraded out of the hotel room there.
Is he like Hotel Z? Like, did you rent the room for an hour and like you're like, I got to fit a podcast in this too?
It was one of the weirder comments I've ever heard on a fantasy football, like on our sleeper app message board. It was like, can you upgrade your like
house
background so we can see what's going on? And I'm like, dude, I'm in my bedroom. Like, what more do you want to see?
It's
like,
kind of funny that actually was like
that's a loaded question, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did say in there, like, you've got to pay a little bit of money before I'm going to show you.
Yeah, we don't quite have a Patreon yet, so we can't quite go that route. Next season,
well,
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they could be so upset with the download view of your nostrils. It works for everyone else. That's the problem is.
All 16 pixels.
Oh,
16 nose hairs.
Hey, you do you.
That's it.
You do you. You do you. Oh, man. So, guys, it's the fantasy football playoffs. Some of you are involved in the good side. Some of you are involved in the bad side. Some of you are involved in both.
Some of you are not involved at all.
That's also true. Both can be true. We start off with the Raiders breaking the scoreboard last week, which everyone saw coming. That was a lot of fun. It was so much fun, in fact, that it reminded me of when I saw the Raiders break the scoreboard last in 2010 against the Broncos. A lot of fun watching a team get demolished like that, especially when you have no vested interest in either team. So thank you, Jersey City, for a very fun trip in Denver.
Was McFadden
sorry to
on
Matt
that
Ferguson for the smell I made in our hotel room that night after ribs. That was something he still doesn't forgive me to this day.
I'm trying to think who was a Raider back then. Even I can't even remember.
Jamarcus Russell was on that team.
Oh,
I think McFadden was on that team. We saw Tim Tebow play.
Was Cooper? No, Cooper wouldn't have been there.
No. Who else did we see in that game? It was like a bloodbath. It was 28-0 after the first quarter.
Bay, probably.
Hayward Bay, I think, was there. Yeah. Nice.
Well, you remember that was like that early kind of 2010-ish Raiders, or I guess like 2008 Raiders team. It was just like, who's the fastest guy coming out of the draft? That's who we're picking. First round pick, second round pick, third round pick. It doesn't matter what round. You just have to be able to burn. I don't care.
The track team, except for Sebastian Jankowski.
Yeah,
and my favorite part of that was Al Davis was just like, yeah, that's my MO, and I'm gonna keep rolling with it. Like he just didn't change. Like he's like, that's who I am.
Should we
It
keep
was
doing this?
it was Al Davis who would make a petition for a rule change, right? And then it would go to vote, and then Davis's thing was he just wouldn't vote. So he'd want the rule change, he'd push it to vote, and then be like, "Yeah, I abstained from voting," which is pretty great.
It's a conflict of interest.
Yeah,
Guys, pretty interesting. Anyway, that was a lot of fun. If you had people in that game, that was great. Thankfully, Ted, you didn't have anybody from that Raiders team, so I actually had a chance this past week against you.
Isn't that weird for you to say you had a chance and you were the higher seed, though?
Man, it freaked me out for 4 days. It really
I'm receiving
affected me.
texts from Ryan daily stressing out about who I'm starting that week. And I traded him half my team, so I don't know what the issue was.
And I just won.
My favorite comment from that was Richard Sherman saying the Chargers needed to make league history by firing their coach at halftime.
They should have. Staley should have been gone for sure.
He didn't.
At least
He didn't last 12 hours.
No.
At least they didn't do what the Senators did. Was it today or yesterday? Where
yeah.
So good.
make your coach one more practice because he's on the payroll, and then it's like, okay, practice is done. You're out.
Yeah.
So good.
Better idea to not get him here. So playoffs have started. I thankfully beat Ted, so I can sleep a little bit easier this week because he was, we've all had this where you have like that bad week, or you have a really good team and you just play that one bad week in the playoffs, and you likely would outscore everyone for the rest of the playoffs. That was almost what happened.
I've literally done that.
We've all it's happened to everybody. Like it has to have happened because that's how this stupid sport works. Well, thankfully, I mean, for me, I had that 1 week and I just barely won. So hopefully things turn around. But then we were talking in the group chat about, now it's Christmas time, and guys, we're trying to find THNOs for the show this week. And then Chris and Steve, I think you guys were throwing up some of the pictures because Sleeper always does some fun little, themed pictures for guys. But I thought this one specifically probably went a little bit too far. I don't know if you guys have seen this Russell Wilson one. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. I think they need to rethink what they were doing there.
Man.
Good old January 6th. So
We just need the little caption from Buffalo guy saying, "Let's ride."
yeah, I saw that and it kind of worried me that maybe Sleeper's going in a direction. Maybe we need to switch apps because it got a little bit too crazy in that one. So it's super funny. There's some good ones in there.
The best one is still by far Aiden O'Connell as Farva. That is the best one.
And it wouldn't show up for me. And I think Steve, it was the same for you. I kept clicking on like the laptop and on my phone and it just didn't show up. So
yeah, I don't want
it did.
I don't want a large Devontae. I don't want a goddamn liter of Trey Tucker.
It's for a cop.
Are you gonna spit on my wide receiver?
Little burger punk.
The best one.
That's
Really underrated movie.
that's too good. That's too good.
Steve, have you seen that movie?
Yes, I have many
Well,
times.
at least you've seen one of them anyway.
One movie out of 1,000 now we're up to.
The
Only
Seahawks
1,000 movies. That's it. Yeah.
Seahawks won on Monday night, and that cost you guys, I think, cost Chris a few dollars. Unfortunately,
Won me a few dollars.
oh, did it win you a few dollars? I'm sorry.
I mean, it cost me in the fantasy playoffs, but I also had DK over 62.5 receiving yards. So
Nice.
So are you paying for beers this week?
Johnny Manziel, baby, let's go.
That worked out for him.
Yeah.
He's got a good trademark going with that. That was kind of fun. I was talking to Maddie yesterday. We were at speed skate and watching the kids skate, and he was saying, like, I just need Kenneth Walker to like not get 16 points. And I'm like, well, it's been kind of rough for him. Sure enough, dude absolutely goes ham last night. And I texted him and I just said KW3, and that was it. That was it.
So going into yesterday, I think I had like a 3% chance of winning or something like that. I was down bad. I needed 31 points combined from Ken Walker and JSN, and I got 28.
Oh man.
So, yeah. So it was close. I mean, I can say, oh man, those two guys didn't get me what I needed, but I also could have started Joshua Palmer or Joe Flacco or right.
Trey
So
Tucker.
yeah, so there. Well, I mean, I'm talking about guys I actually had on my bench that could have propelled me to the win. So hey, you win some, you lose some. I still have an opportunity at the first overall pick because I've got somebody else's first round draft pick. So go New Devon.
How did you get that pick? What did you trade to get that?
Cooper Cup.
That worked out.
Yeah.
Well, I might be playing him this week, so we'll see what happens. Because
New
I'm on
Devon.
that side. Too. You know what sucks? So I get the bye last week, right? Because I was the best non-playoff team, and I outscored everybody but 2 league wide. And of course, it came down to me needing to beat Ted in week 14, and I actually would have made a playoff run this year. No, I have to be shut down, and I have to play against the weaklings. So
you know that means you're losing this week, right?
there's a good chance of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't have a very good record coming off the bye in any type of playoff. So, you know,
Playoffs.
it is what it is. Playoffs. I'm just hoping we can win a game.
I just want to win a game.
I do want to have a public service announcement. I think for anybody that's watched our show this year and listened to the advice we actually have to say. So, Ted, you and I made a trade. Derrick Henry and Zay Flower for, was it a 1 and a 2, right? I think we threw something else in there. That was a few weeks before the fantasy deadline, right? That was about a month ago.
It was like, I think it was two weeks before deadline. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It might have been earlier. It might have been like week 4, I think.
It was
week 3 or 4. Yeah.
It was a little bit earlier, but I basically said I knew I had a good team, but I wanted to be sure. Because even if you have a really good team, and I've looked at a bunch of rosters that are still out there, and I'm thinking, man, these guys they're built like kind of the blue collar teams where they've got a bunch of really good but not great. And I had the 1 week that freaked me out, and I knew, and I told Ted, I said, I need 2 guys that are studs. So at least if 2 other guys fail when it matters, I can still keep that point total up. Well, of course, Bajan, Derrick Henry, and Drake London combined for 4.6 points. 4.6 points.
I think they had 16 touches between. There was one other guy there too, but Pitts, I think. They had 16 touches between the 4 of them.
Unbelievable. Had I not had those 2 guys, though, I was able to keep the rest of my roster going. I didn't have to start, although I would have had Noah Brown start and someone else, and it probably would have killed it. But it's the kind of thing, if you guys prepare, if you have a good team, prepare for the playoffs so that you can hedge all of your bets if you think you're going to make a run or whatever. Like, have really good backup options, even if you don't use them until the playoffs. That is my, like...
Drake London sounds like a really good backup option.
Well, it's... he was my starter, so apparently he does really well at home, so it should be fine this week. So, anyway.
He does do really well at home, yeah.
Yeah, so have guys that you can rely on right throughout and just have a good backup plan, because everybody, we've all had runs, we've all been to the bottom, or some of us have anyway.
I have had the runs. Yep.
I was going to say, you're talking about the runs, or
yeah, I've had tacos 3 days this week, so this show might have to end quicker than normal. Just have a really good backup plan when you're going to the playoffs, because we all know what happens, whether you have the bye week, like some of us are just coming off and you're about to get absolutely throttled for no reason at all, or you
get absolutely what?
Throttled.
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
Throttled.
Okay. I thought you said swallowed, but like with a
what?
but with a th. So like
swallowed.
Please tell me how you heard it.
Like walled with a TH.
Yeah, could you maybe say the way you think you heard it? Because
Steve heard it too.
You got absolutely, just like a baby, got absolutely swaddled.
Okay, well that works too.
Rewind the tape and you'll hear it. Don't worry.
Yeah. Are you gonna throw a flag down and see what happened? Okay. Yeah, drop the flag. So anyway, be prepared for the playoffs, because if you wanted to win it all, you got to plan to win it all. That's my public service announcement. So
you play to win the game.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, guys? I do
Quotes
because
per
I'm a
60.
man. I'm a man. I'm 40. So you like that? Yeah. I knew you'd like that.
God, you guys
Okay,
are
let's get into the big
definitely who we
segment.
thought they were.
God, we have all watched so many highlights of the same sound clips over and
Yeah.
over and over again.
Thank
It's
you, Best
embedded.
Damn. Thank you,
It's
Best Damn Sports
embedded.
Show.
Yeah,
it's
best damn
embedded.
sports show. Exactly.
Now, hopefully, I get this clip right. So we're going to get
Isn't it
into
crazy that Chris Rose is with the NFL Network now?
Isn't it crazy that Chris Rose is still with BattleBots?
Man, when Nadine and I went to Vegas in the spring, I tried to convince her to go watch BattleBots live. She wouldn't do it. She wouldn't do it. But man, so bad. I was like, it's right there.
But probably it'd only be good though if you can hear Chris Rose and Kenny Florian commentating, then it would be good. But if not, then it's just a bunch of like probably not that good.
That's all I'm there for.
Hey,
the,
at least
the mashing of parts.
Robot crashy.
if
There
you
we
didn't
go.
watch BattleBots, at least you watched Xmas, right?
Yeah.
I was there for that. Yeah. Chris Rose wasn't there though.
Too bad.
I invited him. He never showed.
Yeah.
Just
Never showed up.
didn't show up. Okay, boys.
I wanted him to narrate my evening for me. Didn't happen.
I could do that. You give me $20, I'll do it.
I want a less hairy version.
Yeah, you could have David Attenborough or you could have Chris Rose.
Yeah. And he's sleeping again majestically on the couch for the third time this evening. Okay.
Speaking of sleeping on the couch, I had a solid hour and a half long nap on the couch the other day.
You're so old.
Old man.
It was like 7:30. We put the kids to bed. I went downstairs like I'm just gonna I'm just gonna lay down and just like chill out. And then it was like 9 o'clock. I was like, oh hey wife. She's like, I thought you were down and out for the count tonight. I was like, oh, I'm here. Let's watch a movie.
Whoa. Sorry. You just go down for a nap and then sometimes your wife will just let you sleep?
Yeah. all the time. My wife never wakes me up
Holy
on the
shit.
couch.
Okay, so we need the address of this house because apparently
I'm coming over to your house to nap. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Guys will hang out again.
The only time that she like wakes me up is when it's like actual bedtime, and she's like, "Are you coming to bed?" Otherwise, like she just lets me.
You're
do my thing.
basically like a human Garfield.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crushing lasagna and taking naps.
Yeah.
Fun fact: over and above that hour and a half nap I had Saturday evening, I also had about a half-hour little cat nap Saturday afternoon. So I had 2 naps on Saturday.
Man, you are so old. Holy.
Don't hate me because you ain't me.
Oh, that's frightening. You know what? Let's just lead right into Chris. It's your THNO, bud. Your first week back in what seems like forever.
Oh boy, you boys ready for this?
Probably not.
So, full disclosure, I hit this right.
I don't even like he's like led up to this, and I asked a few leading questions, and I really wasn't comfortable with where he may be going with this. He's got this look. Chris he's a psychopath.
I hit this right up from the boys because I wanted their genuine reaction for this right up. So
I'm just gonna blank my camera here.
Doesn't want anybody to know he thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
they know who my Thanos is. They don't know the story behind it. Ted, I want to see your face.
Show your face.
Show me your face.
Where's the Joker?
All right. So, my Thanos this week is none other than Kieft. Yes, folks, that's his legal name. Fun fact, it's a derivative of Jacobus, which was the name of a great-grandfather of his that immigrated to the United States of America from the Netherlands. Shout out LVH and legal hookers. But unlike those red light tight ends, this redheaded tight end is 0% rostered and 0% started. But hey, every redheaded stepchild has their day. And week 15 was Co's, catching his 1 target for a 2-yard touchdown. But just like trying to give one of those Holland hotties an engagement ring, that helps no one. Roll the clip, baby!
Mayfield throws, and it's caught by Keefe, the tight end. Is he in? Yes, it's a touchdown! Of all places, that's Keefe.
He almost didn't that Keeft. He was very close to missing it. That was good though.
He was.
You guys, I had no. Are you guys related? You and Keeft?
He found the Keefe on that one.
It's possible that you guys.
What are we sharing here? What are we looking at? Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Oh boy. There's the lineage is close there. I feel like.
I'm gonna hold back things I'm thinking right now, but wow,
Ryan, just think about the red light district right now.
that's a frightening man. I'm not gonna lie. That guy looks like
He's scary, dude. He's scary, dude.
he looks like he might be in a biker gang, maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of pictures here
like
on the internet.
Like original Vikings.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He doesn't look very happy in any of them.
That's too bad. Everybody deserves happiness, even that guy from the Netherlands.
Well, he's probably happy now. He scored his first TD.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ted?
Oh, me.
No, I'm just saying your name. Steve,
Okay.
you want to go next?
No, go ahead. Ted's got his cursor.
Fine. Yeah, Ted, that's fine.
Okay. So I'm going with Kevin Harris for my THNO this week. Week 14. Sneaky start. Ezekiel Elliott went off to the tune of 140 all-purpose yards last week. Or was it week before last? It was last week. I can't remember. Anyways, and a TD, 29 touches. This week, Elliott dominated the snap share again, securing 87% of the targets. Then enter Kevin Harris, who got on the field for the first time all year. And wouldn't you know it, old Bill deciding to hand it off to the kid in the red zone to get the score. If you're Bill Belichick, this helps him because he clearly plays fantasy football and started old Kevin Harris. But if you're everyone else, well, that helped no one. Roll the clip.
Handoff for Kevin Harris. He squirts through. Kevin Harris is in for the Patriots touchdown.
That was an impressive touchdown.
Edwards, or was it Edwards, looked like he's trying to hair pull him, and he doesn't have hair. Like it looked like he's trying to hair pull him. Like wrong moment there, man.
Like for a guy out of nowhere, like
That was a crazy run.
Split the defense, break 2 tackles, and get in for the tutty.
Yeah.
Bravo, Kevin Harris.
It's a good pick.
Squirt in, buddy.
That's a good pick. Yep. Steve, who you got, man?
I think this is one of the best Thanos of maybe all time. We've got.
I thought that was the last 3 weeks. I don't know.
Enough. Okay.
Does Steve not say that every week?
I think he does. Yeah.
Like,
You need some new material.
I know I haven't been here that much the last few weeks, but I feel like every week Steve's like, now this is the best one of all time.
Look,
Thanos,
we've got a 22-year-old
sleepy
undersized
ads, sneaky
rookie,
starts.
5'9", 185. They're putting up points like we talked about. Everybody gets a point. Oprah's giving out points in that Raiders game. So you think Devontae Adams is going off for like 4 touchdowns. No, we got Trey Tucker. Didn't poach 1. He poached 2. And he helped get Brandon Staley and the Chargers GM fired. It literally helped no one. And
That
in
actually
real
helped the
life,
Chargers
it did not
standards.
help. Yeah, it might have helped them a little bit, but didn't help
Fantasy wise,
Okay. Checks out.
help no one.
I suppose I should roll the clip now.
Yeah, you can if you want.
Yard line. O'Connell to the end zone. Touchdown Raiders. Trey Tucker.
Look how easy.
By that point, they're just like, I'm not even celebrating because
It
we're
looks
up
so
40.
smooth. Like, yep, we're the Raiders, baby.
I like how Steve laid claim to Trey Tucker after the first touchdown. And then when he scored the second one, Steve's like, well, like, which clip are we going to play? The first one or the second one? So
In fact, I watched 0 of them.
we should have played both. So
Yeah.
fun fact, I'm also 5'9" and 185. I'm 1% owned and 0% started, just like Trey Tucker. So Bravo, Trey Tucker. Bravo.
That actually helps.
In a
no
game
one.
where you can break the scoreboard, even Chris can score.
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you
Trey,
create yourself on Madden and then own yourself in fantasy football just for this?
You didn't?
Second fun fact, I did create myself in Madden. I'm a quarterback, not a wide receiver. But guess what team I play for?
I'm gonna say the Raiders. obviously.
49ers.
The Raiders. Yeah. Carter all the time's like, Dad, why do you play for the Raiders? So like he'll like randomly start cheering for the Raiders because like that's the team that Dad plays for in Madden.
Yeah, you're gonna wreck your kid inadvertently. You better fix that.
Yeah, that's some deep psychological stuff. You might
Instead
want
of
to
check yourself before you wreck yourself.
I think that's what you should do. Okay, I got mine. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Christmas with the Cranks. You guys have seen the movie, right?
One of my favorites.
There you go. Town helps the Cranks.
Whoa. A favorite? Christmas with the Cranks is a favorite?
It's a top
It's a
five.
pretty good movie.
Wow.
So good.
That's
Pretty good
surprising.
movie.
Yeah, easy top 5.
Crazy. Okay, cool.
So the town, Cranks plan to go on holidays because they don't have anybody to prepare for this year. Well, unfortunately, Blair's coming home for the holidays. So the town helps the Cranks prepare for an unplanned Christmas dinner because Blair's coming home with her new boyfriend, Nora. She's at the liquor store and sees Marty, kind of an odd neighbor, whatever in town, like not really well known, but you've seen him around, and invites him to dinner because he's got no one, kind of like this show. Turns out he's Santa Claus, and then books it at the end of the movie like he never even existed. Enter screen DJ Montgomery. Guy comes out of the night, out of nowhere, brings gifts for the fantasy football crowd. Unfortunately, not for very many people. And as soon as he comes, he's gone. He truly helps no one. Chris is crying. I think I broke him.
I mean, you did it, man. You did it.
That was my magnum open.
That was good. That was the penultimate THNO. That might have been the greatest THNO of all time.
I rescind my earlier statement. That's for sure. I almost spit my beverage all over the screen. All right.
I have a
Impressive.
clip too, by the way, in case you guys want.
Don't care
I
about
might
it.
not even might wreck it.
Can we even run it? I don't even think it's worth it. I'll run at the end of the show.
I think you need to play a clip from Christmas with the Cranks is what you need to do.
Yeah, I should have had that. We don't have the legal rights to do that.
Yeah.
So
Just a quick shot of the
He
roof
comes,
with the
he's
decorations
gone.
or something like that would be good. I feel
Oh,
like.
man.
So anyway, DJ Montgomery.
So many 20-year-olds are like, I'm DJ Montgomery.
Wow.
Oh, fuck.
So anyway, hope you enjoyed that one.
You did it. You did
Hope
it.
you enjoyed that one. Wow, like Chris is like legit crying. It's awesome.
Did you know what you were saying?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a quick one and done.
Yep, there you go. Yeah,
Sometimes
Which is-
she goes, sometimes she don't.
which is fitting because it is the Cranks. So
Well, DJ Montgomery. Get rit.
Ted's like Jerry Springer right now, just trying to like between the little clips. He's like, yeah, so
You did it.
yeah, there you go. Oh man.
And then
Okay.
he did it, and then he got out of there.
There you go.
Bing, bang, boom.
Boom. Hey.
Bingo, bango, bongo.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
So
heart wants what the heart wants. Oh, shit. Mm.
Oh man.
okay. Sleepy ass.
Steve's like, I'm out. I'm out.
So Ted's probably like the most composed of us all. So Ted, why don't you go first for sleepy ads?
You're not coming and going. We're all good here.
Okay, I gotta find my sleepy ads. Okay, I think Steve should go first.
Oh man.
Ryan, why don't you go back to back, buddy?
I think I could probably do that. That seems like a good one. Okay, here we go. Sleepy ads time. So I've been on a little bit of a Patriots buzz lately, and I decided, I'm like, hey, let's go with the Hunter Henry train. 21% owned. Now, I was kind of skeptical in doing ads this week because I thought, like, who's still adding people in the playoffs? But if you're in one of those leagues where somehow like everything's falling apart, I don't know. Hunter Henry, 21% owned. He's getting hot, and he's getting help with Bailey Zappi. This is normally where I'd still be adding guys if I was in, so I could take advantage of a weaker opponent on the consolation side. But Henry might be a good add and an eventual start versus Denver. Or, hey, be an absolute freaking legend and start him against the Bills in the championship week. I hear Tommy DeVito is a ballsy move as well. Your turn. Go for it, Ted.
I think Steve's got to go.
You still need some time here.
No, it kind of follows yours. It's a playoff.
Playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that was our big conversation. Was do we do like our regular sleepy ads and sneaky starts? I think there is still some value in these starts and these ads because there's always going to be injuries. There's always going to be matchup based. And like Ryan was talking about earlier, if you haven't kind of, hedged all your bets and traded for a bunch of backups who are sitting there on your roster, you're going to need to add some guys in case things go wrong. So my ad is Trey Sermon. Jonathan Taylor Thomas was out. Sermon was used as the primary backup to Zach Moss. Then Zach Moss goes out, hurt, and Sermon steps in for 17 carries, 88 yards, makes it above 5 yards per carry. Expected back, but maybe Sermon will get, an even share of these snaps because you don't want to overwork Jonathan Taylor if you are going to be making the playoffs. So maybe it's a 50-50 backfield. And yeah, I think it's worth an ad. Everybody has a player on your roster where you can probably drop that person and bet on a little bit of upside. Let's say Jonathan Taylor is not ready to come back. Maybe he's in warmups and something just doesn't feel right. Then you've got a full-fledged starter who can carry the rock. So Trey Sermon, it's worth an ad. It's probably not going to amount to anything, but that's what these ads are this time of the year, right? We're not getting the Kyron Williams, coming out party kind of idea. So Trey Sermon.
How long has Trey Sermon been in the league?
I think he's only 24.
Only
isn't
2
he?
years? Oh, who am I thinking of?
He's young.
It's been a while.
Wow.
Steve, I just want to give you a little bit of appreciation for nobody can see this. This is a, peeling back the curtain type scenario.
Onion.
I really appreciate that you put JTT in your write-up.
You know what? Ever since, you and I were podcasting and you'd say Jonathan Taylor Thomas, I literally can't.
I can't.
Hey, you guys want?
Yeah.
Here's my fun fact. We share the same birthday, September 8th.
Same
You
year,
and Trey
too?
Sermon?
Sorry,
Not the
you and
same year.
Trey Sermon or John?
Me and JTT. Yeah, Tracy. who cares
Like
about Tracy?
Jonathan Taylor Thomas or Jonathan Taylor?
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Even better.
Maybe it's him
multiverse.
too. I haven't bothered to look. I guess it could.
The JTT multiverse.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, you guys are not going to believe this.
I anytime I hear Jonathan Taylor, I'm like Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Like I can't help myself. So I'm glad I got you on board, Steve.
No, January 19th, Jonathan Taylor doesn't check out for me.
It's pretty close.
It's pretty close. Yeah.
Love it.
Ted, go for it.
So this one is basically it's riding on the coattails, but following that exact same line that Steve follows, right? I mean, and I think if you didn't pick Sermon, then I would have picked Sermon, and there's a good chance you might have gone the other direction and picked the guy that I picked, and that guy is Zamir White. So Oakland Raiders, he's rostered in 22% of leagues. He's only being started in 7, but both he and Sermon are pretty much interchangeable here, right? I mean, Josh Jacobs, Jingleheimer Schmidt.
His
Was
name's my name too.
Nice.
Because you got the same name companion. Yeah. So out last week as well. White ran as the lead back in the blowout, but similar to Sermon and the Jonathan Taylor Thomas thing, Josh Jacobs, Jingleheimer Schmidt also looks to be ruled out for the week as well. So possible that he could come back for that Christmas game, but that's the thing, right? If you're a guy that has either Thomas or Taylor, or has Jacobs, you're going to want to have a Sermon, or you're going to want to have a White on your roster to either start them in place of, or B, run them in a bit of a committee, or maybe you have them and you're completely out to just start them fully, right? So both these guys have had success. The Raiders have had success running against the Chiefs. I think that's the whole thing. Those guys can get back to the ground game a little bit and it'll help them. And he's proven to carry the load in the past. He's a bit of a hard-nosed runner. So same idea. If you're not out there securing your handcuffs, and these are just sneaky ads, right? They may never see the light of day, and they could be off your roster the very next week if guys like, Jacobs and Taylor come back. But almost an identical ad, same sort of idea to the Trey Sermon thing. But Zamir White would be my guy for the Las Vegas Raiders.
There you go. And Chris, obviously you got a banger of an ad this week.
Bangarang, Rufio.
Rufio.
So
Nobody's gonna rooster crow here. Somebody? No.
Cock of the walk, baby.
So my
You're doing it, Peter. You're doing it, Peter.
You are, Peter. There you are.
So I friends of the show went into a very deep dive on that movie, and if you guys haven't heard it, you guys should definitely listen to it, because I can't help but to agree with them that Peter handed the sword off to the wrong guy. But hey, I mean, what other options do you have when Rufio got killed? So, anyways,
Wow,
my sleepy ad is kind of following the same line of, like, there's a lot of injuries, but I feel like this one could have gone in either the sleepy ad or the sneaky start category. And that is, of course, quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, Gardner Minshew. CJ Stroud is hurt. He's doubtful for this week. Will Levis is hurt, high ankle sprain, probably not going to play this week. Nobody knows who the Patriots starting quarterback is going to be. And those are just the guys not named Rodgers, Cousins, or Burrow. Gardner is 28% rostered, 11% started. But of course, don't let those numbers fool you, because Minshew Mania is back, baby.
For sure.
After throwing 3 touchdowns and 215 yards versus the Steelers, which was good for the QB6 finish last week, Minshew now has the Falcons on tap next, who don't instill fear in anyone not named Bryce Young. So after that, he does have the Raiders for championship weekend, so definitely worth an ad. If you need a starter, Minshew might just be your guy. But if you're in a 2 quarterback league, he should absolutely be one of your guys. So go grab Gardner Minshew, fire him up. I think this week against the Falcons, he's going to have a big week, and there's no reason why he can't repeat versus the Raiders next week.
So would you say he's like the Smee of your fantasy team this week? The best sidekick you can have, right? Like, ride or die with Smee. Gardner Minshew is your Smee to the finals.
Yeah. Start him and go pick on the Falcons.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
is I really like this ad because
Oh,
no, Steve.
Steve's
You're giving
Steve's
me
gone to the
props and your
internet.
internet sucks.
right now
Kid, hold on.
With
Let's pause
quarterback.
it.
You just said right now he puts up points. I agree. That's why Chris made that pick.
Oh man,
Steve, can
Dude,
One more
my
time for the fans at
internet.
home.
Yeah.
Go for it again. Just keep saying
No,
it until we
I
say
just I like this. I like this ad because right now, if whether you're in a 10 or a 12 team league, there's just not a lot of quality matchups of those guys that are left out there, right? There's like your Geno Smith, not a good matchup against Tennessee statistically. Are you going Nick Mullins? Like, that's a good matchup because Detroit's letting people throw all over the yard. I like Minshew. Russ is probably left on the waiver wire. Not a great matchup in New England. There's just scraps left. In my one league, I'm literally struggling because my quarterback was Justin Herbert.
Wait, did you say you're literally struggling?
Literally struggling. I have Matt Stafford in there right now.
Literally and smoking the reefer. And that's kind of what why I leaned in Minshew's direction is that there's a ton of injuries at the quarterback position, and this is a guy that has proven that he can play well no matter where he ends up. I mean,
if your quarterback goes down like Justin Herbert, you have nothing else to hope on other than just you want a guy who can put up close to 20 points.
Yeah.
If you get anywhere relatively close and you don't just get destroyed with a quarterback giving you 8 or 10 points, you probably have a chance to still continue in the semifinals, right? I think he could put up close to, if not more than 20. So I like this one.
He's what Tommy DeVito wants to be.
Yeah. That's a really good analogy, actually.
yeah, it is.
I know. That's why
I don't give you compliments that often, but that one was
Ryan. Stop it.
saying things that make sense.
Dumb things.
Yeah.
You're saying things and people understand you. Understand
You're
you.
supposed to be the village idiot here. Stop it.
Yeah, well, somebody I got to step up at some point. You know what, Ted? You have probably the most interesting start this week.
Yeah,
And by
surprising me too.
Interesting is the word I'm going to use until someone else uses a different word. So fire away.
I'll use stupid since it's stupid.
Ooh.
How do you really feel?
I'll save judgment until the public has heard the answer, and then I will.
I'll see how the public reacts, and then I'll decide.
Yeah, until it comes off of his lips.
Oh no, I have my own opinions. I just want the public to hear first before I put it on public record.
Okay, yeah. So back-to-back things, back-to-back weeks of things that I did not expect to have on my bingo card for 2023. The Monsters of the Midway, the Chicago Bears, DST is going to be my start of the week. This is the sneaky start portion of the show. And while the real-life Bears suck and boast a record of just 5-9, the fantasy DST version of the Bears are one of the hottest defenses in the last 6 weeks in the NFL. Yes, the entire NFL. They've rattled off weeks of 16, 15, and 18 since week 12. Got to sneak the bye in there. And they have Arizona and Atlanta in the chamber for the remainder of the playoffs. So all this, and you realize they are owned in only 10% of leagues, and they're only being started in 6% of leagues. So in my opinion, make it happen. Go out and get the Bears and start them for the last 2 weeks of the season. No reaction from the public? Okay.
How many other players were available before you decided on a defense?
I don't know. They're just putting up weight. They're putting up more points than the average
starter
here. It's crazy.
I want to know what player
more
lost
points
out.
than the average Bear.
Hey.
I wanted to say it, but yeah, low-hanging fruit. It's there.
Well, you have to take that low-hanging fruit when you can. Anyway, it's a shitty choice.
Wait, what is the problem with wanting to start a Bears defense that's did you just axe him?
It was so good.
Seriously, I always do my run through of projections and matchups, and then you see that this team is literally putting up massive points every single week, and they have cake matchups moving forward.
You use the word literally properly there, Steve, not so much.
They got cake matchups moving forward, and they're only being started in 6% of leagues. Come on, this is a sneaky start by virtue of the statistic. It is. So I don't know what else to say. I mean, this is points per, and there's a big chance for them to put some huge points on the board in playoff weeks.
This is Bears on bicycles, if I'm being honest.
Bears.
Right now.
That's my saying. Screw off. That's what happens. That's what happens in the fifth inning when we're playing hops ball and somebody hits a hard grounder to second base, and all of a sudden it's Bears on bicycles and we score a triple.
Yeah,
three runs off of 4 errors.
Yeah.
It's week 16 and the in-house fighting that started.
Yeah, it's not going to get pretty from here on in. Steve.
So Ryan must be up next.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can go if you'd like.
Can't believe you guys hate that start. That's a smart start.
Look,
I don't
I-
hate it. I just like we play in a league that doesn't even start defenses. So like to me, it's just like what's the like? May as well say, hey, start Justin Tucker. Like we also don't start kickers in our league. So
Let's
Start a
not be-
linebacker.
let's not get crazy, Chris. Come on. Let's not talk about kickers.
Look, I only want to say that I don't like this because I think this show needs to promote the forward-thinking approach of no kickers and no defenses. That needs to be a common new thing in all fantasy football everywhere. In a couple other leagues, one of them I managed to talk the boys into, or at least proposed out there, like get rid of kickers. They're absolutely useless.
Yep.
They wanted to keep defenses cool. They're the lesser of two evils. They're just, it's so hard to predict what
You know-
a defense is going to do. And if a defense can easily put up 20 points, you're putting them on par with a quarterback. And that, in my opinion, is so dumb. So
and
we
you
need
know
to
what?
make a movement.
Well,
No kickers, no defense. No kickers.
I would almost argue kickers over defense because defense.
no, they're both are dumb.
No, they are, but like in Steve's other league where he convinced him to like get like do away with kickers but keep defenses is that like defenses start the game with 10 points. So right off the hop, you're like, here's
If
10
nothing happens,
here's 10 free points.
so this is why I agree 100% with you, Steve, in the fact that we shouldn't even have defenses. And Chris, I know you're there too. We shouldn't even have defenses or kickers. Why is a team or a startable player in this point, right, who is only being started in 6% of leagues, putting up 18 points per game and nobody's starting it? You know why? Because nobody cares about defenses and they're only willing to put the team that they have that's their favorite in, or whatever the next team that scrolls to the top that's projected to have the good week. None of it matters for real, but it is a little bit concerning that nobody's starting a team that's putting up between 15 and 18 points a league, which is quarterback numbers. It's better
Or
than
you
just
get
backup
lucky.
numbers.
You get lucky on a defense one year where they just go off, like a Seahawks.
Well, sometimes, yeah, like it was worth it, a couple of years back to keep the Raiders D or like, Pittsburgh D, not Raiders D, sorry, Ravens D, Pittsburgh D. Like it's been good having Cleveland D this year.
Seahawks.
Yeah, Legion of Boom, all those picks. Like there's every once in a while it happens, but let's hope that we're just playing in leagues that don't start defenses and it won't matter.
And I will say the numbers line up for the Bears defense since week 12. Pretty sure it lines up pretty close to when they traded for Montez Sweat.
It's exactly when they traded for Sweat. Yeah. He's been an absolute beast there.
That's a great pick, Ted. I really like what you did there.
Let's stir the pot a little bit. Yeah.
I just think that if you can get rid of defenses, I think it can open up two different kind of new avenues. One, I know we add an extra roster spot. So, we do the wide receiver tight end, not a full flex, but a partial flex, or maybe add another wide receiver, because guess what? There's always usually between 2 and 3. I'm sure the number is somewhere in between there, right? Like there's a lot of wide receivers. So it makes you deep dive on teams. It shows whether you know more about it, as opposed to what Ted said, where you're just like hitting the projection button. You're like, yeah, look at that. Green Bay's got an easy matchup this week. Like, I'm going to roll the dice on it. And then they get you 5 or they get you 25. Like it's just such a crapshoot with that. The other thing I think it opens up is, I don't even know if your app will allow you to do this, but I think that kick returners and punt returners who are wide receivers, I think they need to get credit for scoring a touchdown on your team.
100%.
So, like, back when you had Devin Hester, everybody wanted the Bears defense, but it's not like technically
You just want Hester. Yeah. I think we did that in CBS. It did count that way, Steve.
Hold on though, but like let's be real. That Bears defense with Urlacher and crew was like, I mean, it wasn't like, Devin Hester was returning a bunch of kicks, but that defense was pretty impressive too.
But what I mean is, like, you can start Devin Hester as a wide receiver who he's not gonna get you a whole bunch of like regular points, because he was never like a mega talented wide receiver in terms of like route running and targets and all of that. He's probably gonna put you up like 4, 5, 6 points, but you always had that threat of him taking one back to the house. And
Or Dante Hall was a similar guy.
I was just gonna say like maybe a better like
All Cribs, yeah.
a better
Cribs
like
would be good on.
player for that position would be like a Dante Hall, where like the defense was fine, like but they weren't like world beaters like some of those Bears defenses were when Hester was there. Dante Hall, I think, would make more sense for what you're trying to say, Steve.
Stephen Logan.
But I understand what you're saying, and maybe that's why like IDP needs to be a thing, right? Like instead of like the full DST, do an IDP.
Oh, I don't know. I played in IDP leagues and it was annoying as hell.
Oh, I'm not saying how I want to play in an IDP.
Yeah,
league.
yeah.
I'm just saying that like,
You just shouldn't have you shouldn't have the option to do defense. It should be either IDP or not.
I'm in favor of it. And this sucks if you happen to, a kick returner that plays a defensive position would be off the table, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
But I like the idea of, go out and start Devin Hester each week. And then if he happens to return a kick, you get credit for that, an offensive statistic versus only a DST statistic. I like that. I don't know if that's possible. It used to be in the old CBS league.
It's not. I don't
that's
think
an
it's
interesting
a
one.
sleeper. I haven't looked too much into it, but
Maybe just have our people call their people, and then
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
I mean, I feel like it's a moot point in today's NFL anyways, because the amount of kick returns and punt returns that are coming back is pretty much non-existent. I mean, our buddy Kyle, I think he
All
was
the more reason to make it count then if it's a player that scores it, right?
sure. Like our buddy Kyle was kind of like the driving force behind being like, guys, let's get rid of kickers, because there was some like, I think he sent us like this, or at least me, like this article about how impossible it is to tell from week to week. Not to mention like the top 2 kickers are the only ones that really matter, and then like 3 to 17 are all basically within 5 points by the end of the year. It's just such an anomaly whether it's like, oh, are they going to go for a 35-yarder? Are they going to kick
Who cares?
6 extra points, but this guy gets more because he kicks 150-yard field?
Well, and then
It's-
part of
Yeah.
part of the
Already it's ruined everything. We're talking about kickers now. We've spent so much time on it.
and part of and part of the problem with kickers is the escalators that kickers get, right? Where it's like, oh, it's a 30-yard field goal, it's a 40-yard, it's a 50
Oh,
yard,
yeah,
it's,
that's right.
Like so, it's like so you get that part of it as well. And like I know when we were discussing getting rid of kickers, Mike, who was previously in our league, that's what he brought up was like the escalators that kickers get, like a bonus, like, hey, they did this.
Yeah.
Whereas, but meanwhile, we're not a PPR league. So it's just like my wide receiver who like arguably did something harder by making a catch isn't getting the PPR point, but my kicker made a kick. So let's give him an extra point. Right.
And there's also nothing where like, I get kickers are people too. They make
I
games.
still love hearing that. I'm sorry.
It's one of the greatest. Yeah, it's so good.
They impact games for sure. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Do they impact games to the point of where, like, let's say you're in, the semifinals or the finals, and you're up by like 16 points, and they have a kicker, and they still have a shot to beat you because a kicker gets hot like that? To me, that is just absolutely ridiculous that you put all this time into like, sneaky or sleepy adding Gardner Minshew, and you're doing all these deep dives. You know what I mean? Like you're doing the things that you should do, and then it's like a damn kicker beat me because they put up a 19 spot. Like no kickers. How about this? If you're doing kickers, they get maxed at 9 points, not even double digits, unless it's like a 50-yard game winner. Then give them a maximum of 15. But when I see kickers getting over 15 points, I'm like, this is just bush league.
Or maybe instead of like giving them the escalator plus the 3 points for the field goal, it's like you made a kick, 1 point.
Or just a standard 3.
Yeah.
Or just get rid of kickers. Hey, we did it.
Hey, all
I was
right.
hoping we were going to get there. Yeah, I totally agree.
We got there. Right?
We're gonna take the long way. So
they hold such a valuable position in a real game, and there's such excitement to them making a real kick in a real game that matters for the actual game script, and it's almost completely irrelevant when it comes to fantasy football.
But it's the same with defense, right? Like defense obviously plays a huge part in real football, and if they make a play, I mean, look at last night's game, like Julian Love with those 2 huge interceptions, like that totally swayed the game. I mean, the last interception literally sealed the win for the Seahawks. But I guess my issue with DST in fantasy football is that the game starts and the DST, boom, 10
They
points.
start with 10 points. Yeah.
They start with 10 points, right?
I don't know if I showed
And-
this. Sorry. I was just, yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't want to talk about defenses anymore.
No, and like
But I think it's important because so many leagues play defenses.
Yeah, and I get it. Like you
Most
can't
of them
start-
do.
You can't start the defense at 0 because then you're probably gonna end up with negative points. But then that just like circles right back to the start of why have defense at all?
Yeah,
Right?
you could go backwards or forwards. You could start with 0 and count like sacks, or like you can't go negative, or maybe you could, I guess, if depending on how many points are scored. But maybe like there's too many ways to try to like figure it out so it works. You could just not have defenses and kickers. I don't think I showed this before, but we'll get it in there. So
Nice.
sneaky
Nice.
starts. We debuted that last week with Jim. So Ted, sorry, that was a little posthumously that frame there. I'm gonna get into mine. It feels easy to recommend a player coming off of a massive blow. I said blowout this time, not something else. But Jacoby Myers has over half of his starts with over 10 PPR points. That's points per reception, in case you didn't know. He has a snap share that would make Steve get weak in the knees. He's 34% started, and if you need a fill-in guy, and he's somehow available, 74% owned, even against a KC defense that's been pretty tough, you should dig deep and start Jacoby, who's spelt wrong, with an I. Jacoby Myers, he is my sneaky start of the week.
Hold on. I'm going to interrupt you. Jacoby is spelled wrong because it's spelled with an I, or because
That's
you
right.
spelled it wrong in the doc?
No, it's spelled with an I.
True,
It's
but you
spelled-
also spelt it wrong in the doc.
Did I? No, I spelled it with an I. It's how you spell it.
No, it's with a K instead of a C. You
Ah,
turd.
whatever.
So
Yeah,
I
that's
just
true.
wanted to put it out there that Jacoby Myers does
All
not spell his
right,
name
all right,
wrong
all
because
right.
Ryan says so.
His
But
real life name
Ryan-
is spelled wrong. Who cares how I spell it?
Sorry, Ryan.
That's okay.
Didn't you
that
miss
coming.
me?
Yeah. Okay, Giggles, you're up.
Me?
Which one of us?
Who, me?
You're Giggles. Go, Chris. Go for it.
All right, guys. So, what are we doing here? Sneaky starts.
There you go.
My sneaky start for
Just
the week.
follow
I'm
along.
following along. It's been a few weeks, guys. Give me a break. Went to Disneyland, played some soccer. I've missed a little bit of time here. So my sneaky start for the week is Joshua Palmer. And of course, before you guys pile on and give me the Ryan Hank, Najee Harris,
Oh, Josh Palmer. Oh.
here, I also didn't think he was going to qualify for a sneaky start, but apparently he was only started in 8% of leagues last week, which, hey, I can't blame you because I didn't start him either, and that's probably why my season ended this past week. But it was his first game back from IR. He has a hockey stick starting at quarterback with Herbert injured.
That's tough.
Yet he still put up 4 receptions on 4 targets for 113 yards and, of course, a tutty. So for those counting at home, he did get 100% of his PPR points.
Points per reception. I already put the caption up. Do you want me to put it up again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Duh. So I paused.
How did you do in the half PPR?
Dramatic effect.
Full split.
Half PPR, you got the split. So half that.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Oh,
He-
jeez.
he
Speaking of Palmer, how about DJ Montgomery?
coming and going.
Here she is.
Next up, Palmer
There
does.
you are, Peter.
Just birthed his way out.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're
so
10.
Palmer does have a Buffalo Bills team next week at home in LA. Keenan Allen still hasn't practiced this week, which of course is leaving Palmer as the wide receiver one for the Chargers. So go ahead, fire up Joshua Palmer, get him in your lineup. 8% is embarrassing. I'm embarrassed.
We're embarrassed also.
The only thing more embarrassing than that is the 6% that the Bears were started.
I would have won my week this week if I had Joshua Palmer in my lineup.
Same.
Well, you know what? That's a product of people watching this show, because if you were here last week, tuned in, myself and Jim Coventry both said, do not start Josh Palmer. You know what? Other than the final result, it wasn't bad advice when the 79-yard touchdown is the only thing that saved him. He was looking at 3.4 points or something like that before he had the big touchdown. So
as the kids would say, Hundy P.
But what is, like, if you did say start Josh Palmer and he put up 19 points, does that also make you right?
It does.
If I talked about it as like, hey, Josh Palmer is your boom bust target of the week, then yeah, that's exactly what he did. Like, that is classic boom bust, where it's like 4 catches for 113 yards and a touchdown. Give me a break.
That's kind of what a sneaky start is, though, right? Like, this could be a sneaky start.
And I don't think his first catch was until I think the Raiders were up 42-0.
49 they got to.
Yeah, so like it was outrageous when Palmer finally got his first catch. So it was probably the definition of garbage time, even though it was like the
Welcome to garbage town. Population Palmer.
The start of the third quarter, garbage time. Like,
take me to garbage town.
Yeah.
Steve, finish her up.
This is good. This may be the greatest sneaky start of all time.
This is, I mean, it's up there for sure.
In any universe, even in any multiverse.
Any of the multiverses, you can check that out. Never mind. I'm not even gonna go there. Not worth it. Zay Jones is my I was gonna go down a weird rabbit hole, but you know what? It's too late now.
Hey, sometimes you just got to stop yourself. That's just the way it works.
Yeah,
go down that hole, and then once you have come to that hole, stop and get out of there.
Just once you just go.
Sometimes, you learn from the mistakes on the show. We don't need another 5-minute like tear fest from laughing. We just stop ourselves before it gets too weird again.
Good thing we have those graphics to compose ourselves.
This week, Ryan.
Oh man, I'm not looking forward to the editing on this one.
Zay Jones has been injured or pretty lackluster, unimpressive for most of the season. Obviously, I was watching him Sunday Night Football against the Ravens. It looked like he's starting to get involved in the game, finding his groove. He has Tampa next week, so he should be able to put up at least another 75 receiving yards. Has that shot at a touchdown. This is one of those ones where I don't think it's necessarily boom bust. I think this is ceiling floor kind of thing. I would project that 7, 8, 9 points. You have the upside that they might look his way in the end zone, and then you get that 16, 17 kind of points. So Zay Jones.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
it's pretty decent start.
Some have called it the greatest sneaky start ever.
It's the start of our generation.
The songbird start of our generation.
Oh no, that gets me going. I don't know what you guys are talking about. This has been a weird one, to say the least. I think we all learned a few things about ourselves. We all learned about fantasy football. And you know what? I promised this at the beginning of the Crazy Town. So you guys, I think we do need to see the reason this has been such a great show.
Minshew over the middle. That's Montgomery. That's a touchdown from Montgomery. And the Colts tie it.
Man, he came so hard and got right out of there.
He did. He really did. He really did.
So explosive.
So, man, just Minshew mania. Woo! Woo!
I believe that touchdown is how babies are made.
I mean, I'd be willing to find out.
I thought after he scored, they were just going to go for a quick cuddle.
Man, just smoking on the sidelines. So,
Just cigarettes and
grab a dart and like, how about that score? Pretty sweet. All right, I'm going to sleep.
Sometimes when you dream about that touchdown, you just wake up stuck to your sheets.
Come on, Chris, that's disgusting.
because of night sweats, Ryan.
Exactly.
Jesus.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I sweat a lot, Ryan. Like, come on, that's really
sweater.
judgmental. And
Speaking
Don't
of
you
sweaters,
nap?
I get a sweater underneath here.
Yeah.
This has been a lot of fun. So we're in the fantasy semifinals for most leagues. So hopefully you semifinal so hard, and you get to the finals, and we can talk about it next week.
I hope you get out of the semifinals so hard.
I hope I stay past the semifinals.
But just edge yourself so you can make the finals.
No, I don't want to do that too many times. This
Just
is not the time.
get your point of almost climax.
Get 100, but don't get 110.
Almost a peak season. And then just save that peak for next week.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Got you, Ryan.
Good luck, everyone. There's Christmas or something on Monday.
I think it's pronounced Christmas.
Christmas. So we're gonna do our best to have some kind of a show. Probably not on Tuesday, likely, but
I was gonna discuss
It's
that
Boxing
off
Day.
air. So
it's Boxing Day. But we're hoping to have a show. But if it doesn't, then I don't know. We'll make sure maybe we can get people clips that we can post or something. So this has been
of us getting in and getting out real quick.
Handy P, as the kids say. That's right? That's how you say it.
Handy
Did I get
P.
that?
CD's
Keep
a
it
100p,
real.
buddy.
I
Keep
don't know.
it real. Swag.
Seems kind of sus.
Yeah.
Buddy,
Swag.
you couldn't roll a
Awesome.
tire down a hill.
My Riz is on 100.
Fire.
God,
Well, we
we're
lost
old.
all of our viewers out of more, so that's fun. A whole two of them decided to peace out. On behalf of everyone on the screen that unfortunately you were stuck with for the last hour, Ted, Chris, Steve, and myself, Ryan, this is That Helps No One FantasyCast on Crier Media, the only fantasy show that really goes to places it shouldn't go at all.
It really helps no one.
It helps no one except the people on the show, likely. But hopefully we give you enough advice that maybe, just maybe, you'll get to the next round and be asked to play